Okay, we're going to be solving this quiz for operation in real numbers, in which the question number 1 is asking us to multiply -4 by -4 by another -4 and another -4. So when solving this problem, let's keep in mind that negative number times a negative number should give you a positive number. So you can either group them this by 2, so you will have here a 16 times another 16, and overall this answer should be with the help of your calculator or solving this on the side. 6 times 6 is going to be 36, 3 times 1 is 6, plus 9 is, plus 3 is 9, 1 times 6 is going to be 6, 1 times 1 is 1, you add them up, and this is going to give you 6, 15, carry a 1, 1 plus 1 is going to be 2, so the final answer should be 256. So 256 as a final answer. Okay, so remember that negative number times a negative number should give you a positive number. Okay, so let's go to the next following problem. Okay, in problem number 2, what are we having here? In this second problem, they want you to combine like terms. So -20 and another number here we have a -65. So once again, remember that you want to clear the parentheses, and there's like a phantom 1 in here. So you're going to have a -1 times -20. So what will that be? That's going to be positive 20 minus 65. Now, these times, combining like terms, this and this is going to give you a 5, and minus 65 overall is going to be -60. Okay, because remember that, let's suppose you have a $5 and you owe $65, so your debt is going to be 60, so you owe $60, so it's going to be -60. Okay, or apply any rule that you are familiar with for this combining like terms. Okay, so let's go for the next following example. Next following question, what are we going to have here? Problem number 3. Let's see. Problem number 3, they want you to combine again, so you're gonna have a 10 minus -2 minus -22 plus, let's see, what number do we have here, plus 5. Okay, plus 5. Now, when we're going to do this, the same idea, you have to clear the parentheses. So there's like a phantom 1 in here that you're going to be multiplying to this, and as well there's another phantom 1 here that you're going to have to be multiplying to that. So let's clear the parentheses and see what we obtain. So it's going to be positive 10, -1 times -2 is going to be positive 2, -1 times -22 is going to give you a positive 22. And the 5 that I have here. Now it's time for you to combine like terms. They're all adding, so let's do one by one. So this is going to be 12, and if I apply my associative property, this 22 and this 5 is going to give me an answer of 27, right? And then if you add them up, it's going to be 39, I believe. No, it's going to be, yes, it's 39. So adding them up give you the answer of 39. In this problem, just make sure whenever you have a negative and a negative, you got to clear the parentheses. So it's like a -1 times -2 give you the positive 2. And as well here, -1 and a -22 is going to become positive 22. And from here, just combine your like terms, apply the rule for operating real numbers. So it's pretty much just combine like terms. Okay, so after we're done with this problem, let's go for problem number 4. So we have problem number 4 here. Now, what are we going to do here is combine like terms once again, but remember that you want to be able to clear this parenthesis. So once again, we have this phantom 1 in here that you're going to have to be multiplying to this, and another phantom 1 here that you're going to have to multiply to that, and another phantom 1 multiply to that. So doing that, let's see what we're going to obtain. So it's going to be it's a positive 7 and a negative 21 and a negative 13 and a negative 1. So 7 minus 21 is going to give you negative 14, and this combined together, this negative 13 and this negative 1, this could give you a number of negative 14 again. So you have a negative 14 and a negative 14. Applying the rule, you're going to obtain negative 28. Why? Okay, here you can apply the rule that you've been applying for, but as earlier as explained, I prefer thinking about this negative number being money that you owe and positive money that you have or money that you pay. So if you owe $14 and you owe $14, your total debt, you're still owing, right? So you owe you owe $28, so it's gonna be negative 28. Okay, or you can just review the video on operation with real numbers. So let's go to the next problem. Okay, in problem number 5, once again we're going to have to combine like terms. However, in this particular problem, we're dealing with fractions. So once again, you have to clear the parentheses here. There's like a phantom 1 in here. So negative 1 times negative 5. So you're pretty much changing the sign, or just negative positive times a negative is going to be negative 5, 12. So after we have done this, we have to find the least common multiple between them. So if you're not familiar with that, you can also review how to find the least common multiple, but this is already a quiz, so we're supposed to know a lot of this by now. Now, when we're doing this part here, 7 and 9, 7 nines, well, we're just looking at the denominators. So if we're gonna be looking at the denominators, this part should be a 9 and a 12. 9 and 12 here. So if I'm doing the 9 and the 12 here, so I'm gonna make a line break here. So I'm gonna have to break this down as a 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 is going to be just an I, right? So you're gonna prime factor this 12, which is gonna be 3 times 4, but this 4, I can still break the 4 down. So if I break the 4 down, it's gonna give me a 2 times 2. Once I have that, I can say, all right, my LCD, my least common multiple, or my least common denominator in this case that we're going to be finding, is gonna be, okay, I'm gonna select one of this group. If I select all of these, selecting that is going to be 3 times 2 times 2, and we have to check if these 3 and 3 are here already. Well, I only have one 3, so I must add another extra 3 here. So overall, multiplying them, remember that 3 times 2 times 2 is going to be 12, times another 3 is going to give you a 36. So it means that your least common multiple, your least common denominator should be 36. So you need to make each of them, each here, the 9 and the 12, you have to make them the 36. So what are you going to do here? 9 times what number should multiply 36? 9 times 4. And so I multiply here by 4 as well. And the same technique here for the 12, which is going to be times 3 and times another 3. So we will have a 28 over 36 minus 15 over 36. So now that they have the same denominator, you can just combine them. So you're going to keep the same denominator, 36. 28 minus 15 should give you a 13. And you try to reduce here, but recall that 13 is a prime number, so therefore there's no common factor between 13 and 36. So that will be your final answer. In this next problem, we're going to have to combine like terms, similar to problem number 5. So you're going to clear the parentheses, recall with the phantom 1 here that you have. So by clearing that parentheses, we're going to obtain 1 6 minus 3/4. After that, we're going to have to find the least common multiple again, some of you are really familiar with this, some of you are not. So one of you can do it by in your head, and one of them, just it takes time. All right. So the more problems you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. So 6 is gonna become 3 times 2, and 4 is going to be 2 times 2. So the least common multiple between them should be okay. We're gonna pick one of these lists. We're gonna have to pick, for example, we're gonna pick this. It's gonna be 6, 3 times 2, and we gotta check if this part here is already included here, which is not. So what are we going to do here? It's just gonna add one extra 2. Therefore, your LCM should be 6 times 2, which is 12. So after you're done that, you have to make sure that this is times 2 times 2 to make the same denominator, times 3 times 3, because those numbers are the ones that are going to give you the 12. So when you do that, so 1 times 2 is going to be 2, 6 times 12. 6 times 2 is going to be 12 minus 9 over 12. So 2 minus 9 should give you negative 7 over 12. So since negative 7 is a prime number, since 7 is a prime number, therefore there's nothing that you can do here. So this will be your final answer. So let's move to the next following problem. Okay, let's do problem number 7. In problem number 7, we have negative 5 over 12 minus 1 half minus 1/12. So they do have the same denominator. So if they have the same denominator, you keep your same denominator, and you're going to have to do negative 5 and negative 1. Negative 5 minus 1 is going to be negative 6. And from here, you have to reduce and apply any way of reducing that you know. So some of you might say, oh, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 2 goes into 12 6 times, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice. So your answer is going to be negative 1 half. So that's how some of you may approach. Another way that you could approach, or somebody else could approach, would be like 6 goes into 6 once, 6 goes into 12 twice, and you right away obtain your answer. Okay, so just use any approach that you want. So also, whenever you were taking your math E class, we used to do this, right? So this is 6 times 1, and this is 6 times 2, and you cancel them out. So just use any approach that you prefer, or the ones that are the easiest for you, the ones that you feel the most comfortable with. Okay, so that was problem number 7. Let's move on to the next following example. Problem number 8. In problem number 8, we're having different denominators, but before that, we have to remember that here there's a phantom 1 that you have to distribute. So having that phantom 1 there is going to be negative 12 plus 2/9. So you're going to have to find the same denominator as well. So how are we going to obtain that? So let's do the LCD again. So it's going to be 12 and 9. So 12 is going to be 6 times 2, and this 6 is going to be a 3 times 2, and bring the 2 down. Same idea with the 9. 9 is going to be 3 times 3. Now that you pick your LCD, you're going to pick all of these numbers here. So that's going to be 3 times 2 times 2. And do not forget to add the numbers that were here. So it's going to be, well, we already have 1 3, and there's 2 3s here. So you put 1 3 extra here. So multiplying everything together, this is going to be 12 times 3 is going to become 36. So you need to make each of them at 36. So how could I make each of them at 36? So this is going to be times 3 because 12 times 3 give you the 36. And here is going to be times 4 times 4. So doing this, we will get negative 21 over 36. And here we will get positive 8 over 36. So combining this, we will get negative 21 plus 8 should be at 13. So we're going to be 13 over 36. So this will be your answer. Let's do these fractions, division of fractions. So we're gonna have to do negative 2 over 3, and we're gonna have to change this division into a multiplication statement. You can either put a dot or an x. Well, we're in algebra, so it should be a dot now. So, and use the reciprocal, which is going to be 5 over 6. After you're done the reciprocal, try to reduce before you multiply. So 2 goes into here once, 2 goes into here 3 times. You can only do top and bottom. You cannot do left and right. So you're left with negative 1 times 5, which is going to be negative 5 over 3 times 3 is going to be 9. Therefore, that's your final answer. Now, just right here, let's do the next problem. Problem number 10. You have a negative 2 over 11 divided by 3. So make sure this is a 3 over 1, so you know which one is going to be your reciprocal, like it's going to be 1/3. So let's change this division into a multiplication statement. So it's going to be over 11 times the reciprocal of 3 is going to be 1 over 3. Now, let's see if we can cancel something out. But these 2 and these 3, they don't have anything in common. Therefore, and neither the 11. So be careful. There's no 1 and 1 cancel out here. So it's just going to be negative 2 times 1 is going to be negative 2. And 11 times 3 should be 33. So that's your final answer. So moving on with the next following problem, we have in problem 11, we actually have 5 divided by 0. But recall that any number divided by 0 is going to be undefined. So any number, I'm going to just, any number divided by 0 is going to be undefined. So your answer here should be undefined. Undefined. Okay, so let's keep going on with the next following problem, which is going to be the last problem, number 12. Okay, this problem number 12, we're going to have to multiply 2/3 times negative 1/5 times negative 9/14. Okay, when multiplying this, let's be careful. You're only multiplying top and bottom. So you're only simplifying top and bottom. Okay, so whenever you simplify here, so 3 goes into here once, 3 goes into 9 3 times. So also here we have a 12, a 2, and a 14. 2 goes into 1, 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 14 7 times. So there's nothing else to cancel out. So 1 times 1 times 3 is going to be 3. And 1 times 5 times 7 is going to be 35. But what about with the signs? So we have a positive times a negative give you a negative, and a negative number times another negative should give you a positive answer. So the final answer was positive.